You know, I watch a lot of movies.
We are back in 5, 4.
Now, here's Mr. Midnight, Jack Delroy.
Oh, good evening, night owls, and thank you for allowing me into your living rooms once again.
Late Night with the Devil is a new horror film written and directed by Cameron and Colin Carnes and stars David Dastmalchian as a struggling talk show host in 1977. The film follows David's character Jack Delroy, essentially taking place during one night on Halloween in 1977, as he is struggling to keep his talk show afloat on what could potentially be his last night as a host. It essentially plays like a found footage film where Jack, as a last-ditch effort to boost his ratings, brings on a possessed little girl onto his show, and things, well, as you might have guessed, go horribly wrong. And without really giving anything away, that is essentially the plot of the film. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get into my review for Late Night with the Devil. I would like to start it off by just saying how absolutely great this setting is for this film, and having it take place during one night on a talk show. Having a horror movie take place during a setting like that is just a fantastic idea. And I also really like how it kind of utilizes that template as a way to tell almost this documentary found footage style film. I also thought that was really well done and clever. I've also always really liked David Dastmalchian in everything that I've seen him in, but from what I can recall, I've really only ever seen him in supporting roles and nothing really as a main character, and I absolutely love him as a leading man here. I think this guy needs to get more roles like this, maybe not in the horror genre, but just stuff where he gets to lead a film, because he is fantastic here and he just eats all of this up. And you absolutely buy him as this talk show host in the 70s. He's fantastic. And I felt that all of the supporting cast was also very good here, especially Ingrid Torelli, who plays the little possessed girl. I thought she was great in this. I know oftentimes child actors can just come across as distracting, maybe not so good, especially in comparison to the adult actors, but I thought she really held her own here. Now, I went into this film expecting a bit more of a traditional paranormal type horror movie, and I was pleasantly surprised to not get as much of that and more a tense experience. So I would say maybe go into this expecting more of an intense experience, kind of a slow burn, rather than a more traditional paranormal horror experience. That's obviously not to knock this film, because as I said, I was pleasantly surprised by the end of this to have gotten something more tense rather than a more kind of generic exorcism film. That said, there are some genuinely creepy moments throughout the runtime of this film. And on the topic of runtime, the movie runs just under 90 minutes, and I thought it really utilized that runtime well. And it's one of those that feels almost a little bit longer than its runtime in a good way, because you feel like you've kind of gone through an experience. Now, I honestly don't really have much to say in the way of negatives, because I really love this movie. But I will say I'm a little bit mixed on some things that happen toward the end of the film, really in the last 5 to 10 minutes or so. Now, I'm obviously not going to get into any details and spoil it for you, but I do kind of wish it had maybe stayed just a little bit more grounded. But that is honestly one of those things that I'm a bit back and forth on, which is why I guess I would kind of say I'm a little mixed on it rather than a full-on negative. Now, if I were to sit and try and nitpick the movie a little bit, there's really only one issue that I have, and it is a very small nitpick, is throughout the movie, there's a couple scenes with some kind of shoddy CGI, particularly one sequence involving electricity that I just kind of wished would have looked a little bit better, because there is some practical effects throughout this, some gore effects that I thought were absolutely fantastic. And like I said, they were practical, but really that's just a minor nitpick if I was having to try and find something wrong with it. But I'd say overall, I think the film really utilized its concept to its fullest and most satisfying extent. And it's a very well explored cautionary tale about how far one might go for success. I'd say if you're looking for a great fresh and well-made horror film. Go see this one at the theater as soon as you possibly can if it's playing in your area. But if it isn't, due to its limited release, keep an eye out for it when it heads to Shudder on April 19th. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. See y'all soon. Cheers.
Yeah, I watch a lot of movies.